Hello, I'm Jake Tischer, and today we're going to be going over some tips and tricks on vertical jigging for walleyes. Now, it is common practice among walleye anglers when they get a bite to drop their rod back to that fish and allow that fish to eat the jig. However, when walleyes are a little bit more finicky, they're in a little bit more negative mood, if you drop that jig on, if you feel that bite and then drop the jig back to them, they're going to feel the weight of that jig and decide to spit it out much of the time. A better practice that's going to result in you putting a lot more fish in the boat at the end of the day is to, when you get a bite and you're allowing that fish to eat the jig, pretend like you're trying to hold up the weight of that jig so that fish does not feel the weight of that jig or feel the weight of you pulling up on your rod and decide to spit the lure out. Another practice that also helps you get a lot more bites is to not worry so much about your jigging technique, but generally focus more on holding your jig 3 to 6 inches off the bottom at all times. Oftentimes walleyes will sit with their belly to the bottom, especially when they're in a less aggressive mood, and if your jig is 3 to 6 inches off the bottom at all times, it's going to be very easy for a less aggressive fish to simply eat it without exerting a whole lot of energy. Now, if you're having trouble getting bites and you know there's fish below you, what sometimes will often get those fish to bite is to go with the smallest jig you possibly can in order to stay 3 to 6 inches off the bottom. Along those same lines, you could go with that small jig and go with a 4-pound test rather than a 6 or an 8, or even downsize to a 2-pound test. Now remember, if you decide to go with a 2-pound test line, it's critical that you have a rod that allows you to catch a large walleye on 2-pound test line, and you're not fishing in weeds or any kind of structure that walleye can get into and break your line off in the structure. When walleyes are finicky and in a very negative mood, going super finesse like this can make a large difference in how many fish you have at the end of the day. Hopefully these techniques will help you out, but remember, the most important aspect of successfully presenting a jig vertically to a walleye is boat control. And what I mean by that is coordinating your speed and direction with your GPS, your electronic map, your sonar, and what you see and feel with your line and your jig. Thank you for joining me. Good luck to you.